Hello and welcome to Williams Dog Training Company. We're here today with Fred and Hennessy, and what we're going to be demonstrating for you today on video is Hennessy's ability to understand and respond to her obedience commands, the corrections and motivations that we give while we're working with the dogs, and also the training equipment that we're using. Fred is using a regular 6-foot training leash, and he's going to keep the bulk of that leash folded neatly in his right hand, leaving his left hand free to give the correction if need be. And that correction is a tug and release on the training collar, which is the second piece of equipment that we're using. And you notice that Fred keeps that collar high up on her neck there, right behind her ears, for the most control while working her. You'll notice that Hennesy is seated very nicely on Fred's left-hand side, and that's where all of our obedience training takes place. The first command that they're going to demonstrate is heeling, and heeling is proper walking on a leash. The command that you're going to give is Hennesy heel. You just simply start walking, and she should fall in line heeling appropriately there on your left-hand side. She should be keeping pace with you, whether you're walking at a faster pace or a slower pace, and she should not be lagging behind or lunging ahead and pulling on that leash. We've also gone ahead and incorporated an automatic sit, which means anytime that you stop moving your feet, she's going to sit nicely right there at your left heel position. And she should remain seated in that position until you give her another command or praise her. The next command they're going to demonstrate is the stay command. Use the open flat of your left palm in front of her muzzle and the one-word command to stay. And she should remain seated in this position and should not break. Fred returns back. She remains seated. Great job. And when you're practicing your long sit stay at home, you'll start at about 30 seconds, and upon her success, you'll increase your intervals, working up to a total of 3 minutes for your long sit stay. You also want to make sure that you're using lots of positive reinforcement when Hennesy is completing her commands appropriately for you. You want to make it fun and motivating for her to be completing her commands. Instead of returning back to heel position this time, they'll demonstrate the recall or the come on command. When Fred calls her in, she should come in and sit nicely right in front of him. Very nicely done. And then she heels around the back, returning to your left-hand side, sitting in heel position, waiting for her next command. And they'll demonstrate that again. And back to heel position. Very nicely done. If at any time you're working Hennesy through her commands and she's not completing them appropriately, or she's displaying an inappropriate behavior while in the house, first words out of your mouth are a nice firm no, followed by a tug and release if need be on that correction collar, and you repeat the command. The next command they're going to demonstrate is the down from a heel position. Use the open flat of your left palm straight down towards the ground. One-word command to down. And then give that stay command before you walk out to the end of your leash. And of course, with the down stay, she should remain laying down in this position. This command you're going to want to practice very frequently to help build up her ability to down stay for longer periods of time. It helps with her self-control and maturity skills as well. And again, start at about 30 seconds and increase her intervals upon her success, working up to 5 minutes. It's going to return back, walking all the way around as he did in the sit stay. Turn in the heel position, heels are out of that. Great job. Although you'll be incorporating your commands into your everyday life, you want to make sure that you're setting aside about 10 to 15 minutes every day to work Hennesy through her commands in a formal obedience training session such as this video. You can even put the video on and follow along if you would like. But it's important to practice because it's great practice for the both of you, and will help with the transition back into the house and incorporating her new commands. And Fred will demonstrate the recall from the down position this time. She gets excited. See the more positive reinforcement that you use and let her know she's doing a great job. She gets excited. So you do want to keep your praise a little bit to a minimum. Don't go over the top so that way she doesn't get all worked up thinking it's a play session. But again, it is important to let her know that she's doing the right thing. And this last command they're going to demonstrate is the down from a distance. Leave Hennesy in a sit stay. And from the end of the leash, use your right hand to give her the down command. She should drop into her down directly where she is seated. Very nicely done. Good girl. Fred is now going to demonstrate the next step in our off-leash training, which is a little bit intermediate here, where he drops the leash and just increases the distance between himself and Hennesy. This is something that if you are very diligent and consistent with your training, you will be able to work up to dropping the leash with Hennesy and work towards some more off-leash training, but you do want to make sure that she is listening to you all the time on the leash and following through and behaving. We've demonstrated for you today all the obedience commands that Hennesy has learned here at school. It's been a pleasure working with Hennesy. We do ask that you keep us posted on her progress on her return home. And thank you again for choosing Williams Dog Training Company as your personal dog trainer.